keep in mind, and it's basically suppressing some natural tendencies to want to ask questions a certain way, and you say, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to ask them a different kind of way, which is all outlined here. And you'll have much better results, and you will definitely have better control over the person. Even if they've read all this, it is hard for them to, and I'll show you, even if they try, if they're kind of wise to you and try to give you grief, that there's a few techniques. In fact, remind me, if I don't talk to you about taking the weasel, remind me about taking the weasel, and I'll show you what taking the weasel is, or holding the weasel. Now, let me, Chloe, you and some others want to help hand out these to the people here. And yeah, they're all the same. And you should have 3 pages there. We're going to go through this. I think that let me tell you what is done wrong, and then we'll go through this, is that people think, like somebody gives their 1AC, and your cross-examination is you're basically going to have them confess error, repent, and confess that everything that they just said in their 1AC is wrong and foolhardy, and you should win and not them. You know, something like that. Now, when I say that, of course, people chuckle, but I feel like that's sort of the motivation. And I'll just tell you right now, you're not going to get that unless the person's just totally inept as a debater. That's never going to happen. I've never seen that happen. So I would say just don't even worry about that. But then you're thinking like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Now, I first want you to start with the wrong way, and then we're going to talk about why this is wrong. Right in the middle of the page here, and I'll just do this as sort of, this gets my sort of thespian acting desires out of the way. Okay, question. Your plan to give Latin dictionaries to everyone in India is unworkable and too expensive. Answer. For the person who just did the 1AC for their Latin dictionaries to everyone in India case. Well, I wouldn't call it expensive. I would call it a wise investment in the future of the Indian subcontinent, a responsible use of financial resources, and it is workable. Let me explain some of the details. And then you say, thank you, stop talking. I have more questions to ask you. You are running on and on. Wait, I'm supposed to be asking your questions. Please stop. Okay. What does the person do? Okay, first of all, I would say most debates that I've seen, that's how they do the cross-examinations. And it's that ineffective. What they're doing is they're asking, first I think they have this mindset, I'm going to get the person to confess error and repent. And that's not going to happen. But the other thing is they ask the wrong kind of questions. You ask fact questions that can only, you ask leading questions based on facts that can only be answered yes or no. You don't ask words that have words characterizing. See how I say there, your plan to give Latin dictionaries to everyone in India is unworkable and too expensive. Those are characterization words. You're characterizing your opposition to their plan. And when you characterize, use a characterizing word in a cross-examination, they always quibble. Well, I wouldn't say it's too expensive. Well, I wouldn't say it's unworkable. Well, what does it mean to be workable or unworkable? And then you get into kind of all these silly definition things going on. And that is just something you want to stay with. So what you want to do is ask fact questions in a leading format. Okay, a leading question. Here, let me just show it at the beginning there. Isn't it true that Barney the dinosaur is purple? That's either yes or it's no. And it's a fact question. You can't quibble. Or it's really hard to quibble. Your plan has been vetoed by 3 different presidents, hasn't it? That's a leading question based on facts. Now, okay, we had the wrong way about the Latin dictionaries in India. Let's look at the right way. Isn't it correct that your plan would cost more than double the current national budget of India? These are all made up. I have no idea. Yes. The witness cannot quibble because you've stated a fact. It's either more than double or it's not more than double. Now, you want to make sure you're accurate. And only 50% of people in India can read any language at all. Yes. And only 0.9% of the people of India can read Latin. Yes. So that's 900,000 people out of 1 billion. Yes. Now you see what you've done is you've said, this is unworkable, it's expensive, it's really stupid. But how have you done that? You've done that by innuendo. You let the listener say, wow, this thing is really expensive. And they're doing it by Latin dictionaries. Nobody in India speaks Latin. This is kind of stupid. But if you say, this is stupid and expensive, they argue with you. So by confining them, you basically, if you have the wild beast of the person who's done the 1AC, the way you control them is asking them fact-based leading questions. And then you impeach by innuendo. Okay, that's point number 3. Impeaching by innuendo. You always want to impeach, I mean, that's your main goal, I should say, with a cross-examination, is to impeach, cut down the plan, impeach, make the plan look bad, make it look dumb, make it look unworkable, all that sort of stuff. But you do it by innuendo. And too many of us, this is the natural desire you have to suppress, is you want to go for the jugular. You want to go for the kill. This is a really dumb, unworkable plan. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. And you have an ineffective cross-examination. So you have to have the patience to kind of dissect it, and just by building the little Lego blocks, make this thing look really absurd. Now, how do you formulate this? Now, what you do is if you have some familiarity with the plan, you can do this in advance. But let's say that you get one sprung on you, that you haven't heard. You want to think about basic things. Okay, this is too expensive. This is going to be, now you're going to have to know some statistics and stuff, and I just make up statistics when I give these examples here. But you want to think of the themes that you want to have. It doesn't help many people. It's too expensive. It doesn't really accomplish very much or whatever. And then you want to think of fact ways to illustrate that. Now, let me just show this in a totally different context. Let's say that you're in an actual courtroom. I just because that's what I'm more familiar with. And you have some grandma on the stand who's talking about her wonderful son. And you know that he's just like this beer-drinking biker dude who, and all this sort of stuff. So if you say to the Grandma, isn't the defendant a big motorcycle thug? See, those are all characterization questions. Well, I wouldn't call him that because, he helps me across the street, and I just don't know what I would do with little, Thor or whatever his name is. So how do you impeach him? How do you impeach by innuendo? I'm going to ask you some questions about Thor, Grandma. Mrs. Grandma, yes. Okay, let's say Thor is about 6'4". I think it's actually 6'5". Okay, 6'5". Weighs about 300 pounds. Yeah. He has a beard. How's he wear his hair? Is it braids? He wears it in braids, right. And then his arms. Let's talk about his arms. He's got tattoos, like sleeve tattoos. Different colors, right? And he's got chains around his neck. And do you remember what any of those tattoos are? You see, now sometimes if you know what you're talking about. Well, they're like skulls, Nazi swastikas, daggers, he has a motorcycle, right? And so what you've done is you haven't said he's a big thug, but you've painted the picture. You've impeached by innuendo, and that's the way you want to do it. Because, and this is another way to think of this. On the direct, well, let me translate this in debate terms. In the 1AC, the person